Hello, I'm back again. DJ here again from the DJ DH Eclectic channel, and I'm with some more news for you today, and I hope you will listen to it, make your comments, subscribe to the channel. Please do. Please make your comments known. Okay, so I'm going to talk today, and this is the afternoon one. I did one just into the afternoon today, so published that one. So this one's a new one again, and I promised you I would be back, and I am back. So here it is, and I want to tell you about this primary school in the south of England. Yes, when the weekly newsletter was from this primary school in the south of England arrived in the parents' inboxes at the end of June, because they do it by email, there appeared at first to be nothing unusual in its contents. In her message, the head teacher gave an advance warning of a lockdown drill that would be taking place before the end of term. The staffing changes were also announced, including fond goodbyes to 2 teachers, followed by a warm welcome to several new staff members who will be joining in September. This year, when the schools reopen after the school holidays, it was at this point that some parents became a little confused, because among the names of the new coming teachers was what appeared to be a male teacher's name, with the honorific of not Mr., not even Mrs. or Miss, or even Ms., but MX. MX, and I'll tell you how. Now it's hard to understand how that's pronounced, but I will explain later on in this post. Okay, so this male teacher was described as MX. Inquiries to the school followed from the parents, and the parents discovered that the new teacher, who would be teaching children under 8 years of age, was indeed a man. He was, parents were told, said to have neither male or female identity. He hadn't got either. Forget that there's only male and female. He wasn't male, he wasn't female, but he called himself a man. He had a male name, but let bygones be bygones, shall we, at the moment? Okay, so staff already appeared to be referring to him as they. Staff, he'd visited the school, he'd met the staff, and they were referring to him as they. Now, I despair that the English teacher and these teachers teaching these children basic education was so mixed up and confused, they called a single male they, not realising that they means a group. Meanwhile, some of the children had mentioned meeting the new teacher, and he was wearing garish nail polish and had sounded a bit like a girl. Really? This is what's going to be teaching these children of 8 years of age? The teacher was, it seemed, non-binary, and the ripples caused by his appointment speak to the dilemma that schools face in handling gender issues today. In a fog of equality laws in which schools have to balance their own legal obligations with the rights of staff and pupils. Well, it seems to me that it was a bad balancing act that they were doing, but let's continue, because I've made many notes on this. And I found it frightening. I've got to tell you. According to Stonewall, the foremost they class themselves as, the LGBT charity, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transsexuals, they claim to be the foremost authority on LGBT. In the UK, non-binary is a term for people whose gender doesn't sit comfortably with man or woman. Well, no, it doesn't sit well with me either when I hear people saying I'm non-binary and I'm not a male, I'm not a female. There are only two genders, there are only two sexes, no matter what they say. It's biological fact. However, legally it does not exist in the UK. This is by non-binary. Non-binary individuals are not permitted to have an X rather than the standard male or female sex marker on their passports. So what does he put down when he goes abroad? If he's going on school trips, what does he put down on his passport? A number of parents, excuse me, my throat's going. By the way, this is coconut juice, coconut milk. Very good for you. A number of parents are said to be pulling their children from school and trying to find new places with only a few weeks to go before the new term. They're so vexed by this male being employed, wearing nail polish and speaking in an effeminate manner. Now, this is from a parent. At first, I thought MX was a spelling mistake, one mother told the Telegraph. But when we found out he was non-binary and the staff were calling him they and them, I said to the head teacher, that was a bit sneaky. You didn't mention anything about his identity in the newsletter, and she dismissed me, saying, not really. Now I'm really concerned, she says. I want to quote, so I'm going to go back to my paper. Now the parent says, now I'm really concerned. This was very confusing for the children. My son, who would be in this man's class next year, has some learning difficulties. I don't want him being told that the man in front of him isn't a he or a him. That's very mixed up. What message is that it's sending to the children, she commented. I'd heard about him, this is the lady continuing, I'd heard about him wearing nail polish, and so I asked the head teacher whether he would be able to dress as a woman. She said simply that he would be expected to follow the school dress code. But I took that as meaning he could wear either male or female clothing. Now, this is my comment now. My comment on this school dress code indicates that children should wear clothes suitable for the educational setting. Therefore, I believe this should apply to adults also. School cooks should be wearing clothing suitable for cooking and serving meals. Gym teachers should be wearing gym wear, and in the classroom, conservative clothing, where nail polish is not allowed for children. Neither should it be worn by teachers of either sex. In the course of their duties, I would also disallow any form of makeup, male or female. There is no need to be made up and making up in the classroom. Who are they trying to attract? Sorry, I'm getting messages from Italy. She adds, I'm getting lots of messages from Italy and I do apologise. She adds, some other parents think we're just making a fuss over nothing. And that's, it's only a name and it doesn't matter what this man wears. Those parents are totally wrong. It does matter what an adult demonstrates in front of the children they're teaching. Children believe everything the teachers tell them. They accept everything the teacher does. And for a teacher to be a male teacher wearing garish nail polish and saying, I'm not a male, I'm not a female, interrupts their true education. So the lady goes on, this parent, but I feel this is more important about what a teacher wants. It's more important than what a male teacher wants. Acceptance and validation from young children, rather than what's best for the children themselves. I agree. She goes on, I don't trust the school anymore. So I'm taking my little boy out and I will homeschool him if necessary until we find another school. I'm not the only one. I know of around 8 or 9 families all doing the same. Although there's no suggestion that the new teacher is anything other than professional, another parent says that the unwillingness of the head teacher to discuss the matter at a group meeting with parents is creating an atmosphere of animosity. Another goes on, I'm sure this teacher is a nice guy. But if you don't know what gender you are, what else are you going to be teaching our children that you don't know? If you don't know what gender you are, how can you teach a child what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's false? Whatever this bloke wants to do in his own time, she goes on, outside of school, is absolutely fine. I've worked with gay blokes before, and it's been none of my business. But my daughter is already calling this man Miss. And I don't know if this is because she's always had a female teacher in the past, or that she's been told to call him Miss, or doesn't know how to pronounce MX. I'll tell you how you pronounce MX, and this is according to gender activists. It can be pronounced either mix or mux. Mux. I'm not a mister, I'm a mux. I would say he's running amok amongst the children's education, but that's just me. I called these comments by a mother. It isn't. It's by the father of this young girl. So he adds, the school doesn't seem to want to answer any questions about it. We email them, they don't answer in writing. They have insisted the only way to discuss this is by meeting with us individually with the representative of the local council. Some can't take the time off work and others don't want a meeting where there could be the one parent up against 2 or 3 school officials. Well, of course you don't. That's because they're trying to intimidate and to oppress parents to accepting what they want. Left-wing dogma, coercion, it's all the same to them. Okay, so what's the legal situation we have here? Well, it's thought there are a number of teachers and teaching assistants going by the title of MUCs in schools in the UK, mostly in secondary schools, I might add, and some are safeguarding experts. And they believe it is unacceptable imposition of gender ideology. Safeguarding I'll repeat it. Safeguarding experts believe it's an unacceptable imposition of gender ideology. I'm getting fed up to keep getting interrupted by these messages. I do apologise. Non-binary, it put me off a bit, these interruptions. Non-binary is not a status with any definition or meaning in law, as confirmed by the Supreme Court, and anyone claiming to have both or neither male and female identities should not be working in any capacity with children. Now, this is a statement by Tracy Shaw. She's head of the Safe Schools Alliance. She goes on to say, safeguarding of our children must always come first. Keeping children safe in education. Now, I'm going to use letters here. I hate these letters, but here we go. Keeping children safe in education. KCISIE. That's what they call themselves. Now, their statutory guidance used to be the bedrock of safeguarding in school. But more and more, we see diversity and inclusion being prioritised. Accept everyone and then call it inclusion. But it excludes rightful thinking. It excludes truthful thinking. So the KCSIE says that staff and leaders must always act in the best interests of the child. True. Even when it is uncomfortable to do so, and adult needs, whether personal, professional or reputational, should never take precedence over a child's right to be safe and educated correctly. Member of Parliament Rosie Duffield says parents and teaching staff contact her about gender issues all the time. Professional adults should never require young children in their care to confirm or validate aspects of their private life, she says, or their personal identity in a work setting. She says, adding, this person is of course entitled to live as they choose, but it has nothing to do with their professional paid job, and raises complex age-inappropriate issues which appear not to have been considered in much depth. Legal experts say that employers are currently in a difficult situation when employing someone who claims to be non-binary. The teacher may have protected belief in gender identity theory, which he is manifesting, says Audrey Ludwig, an equality law consultant. But the requiring of children to use the terms MUX and they and them brings his rights into potential conflict with their and their parents' rights. Whether it amounts to unlawful harassment of a child or parents, it's been untested in the courts. Peter Daly is a lawyer who specialises in employment and discrimination, says the problems lie with how the law has been interpreted. Over the past decade, an incorrect interpretation of the law has arisen, which has led employers wrongly to believe that non-binary identities are legally on a par with male and female sex. That's what Peter Daly is saying, this lawyer. The proliferation of this misrepresentation has led many genuinely to believe that there are formal legal requirements to recognise non-binary identities. Not correct. As he says, it's misinformation, it's a misinterpretation that's leading many to believe they have a legal obligation to work with non-binary identities. Okay, we're going to finish now, but the Telegraph, they have approached the school, and a spokesman for the school said, we have offered scheduled individual meetings with the small number of parents who have contacted us about this matter. See, this is what that parent said, that male parent said, wasn't it? One, you can't get off work during the school hours. Two, they don't want to be faced by 3 or 4 education officials when they're on their own. They don't want any individual. They want a meeting where the concerned parents, go to the school hall and ask questions of the body that have decided that a MUX, a non-male, non-female, a non-binary person speaking in a feminine manner, male, wearing nail varnish, is being promoted above the interests of the children in the school. They want to talk about it, but they don't want to talk to 3 or 4 officials on their own. They want to be helping and supporting and encouraging each other, these parents. So the school has offered to have these meetings to discuss their concerns, and the school declined to comment on individuals or their employment for reasons of confidentiality. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. It is woke ideas of inclusion, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is not making the children equal. It's not making the children the foremost point of the educational system. It's subjugating them to the wills and the wishes of a very small minority who seem to be ruling the roost and disturbing the children's education. What do you think? I want to hear your comments. I want to read your comments. I want you to press that subscribe button so I can do more of these, and press the like button. but mostly I want to read your comments. Let's hear them. Stop being a silent majority. Speak up. And so until the next one, I don't think I'll do another one today, but it's possible. It's possible. So until the next one, be safe, be good, and be outspoken. Bye for now.